Ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and look who they've added to the link to platform, my sponsor, Scale AI.
Our mission at Scale is to accelerate the development of AI applications. It's clear to us that AI and machine learning can be used in at least as many ways as the internet and will probably be just as impactful. We look at that and we say the most impactful thing we can do is to accelerate every single team working on this and lay down the infrastructure to actually make it easier and faster for everybody to build AI and machine learning so that we can all realize this impact sooner rather than later.
Since joining.
Okay, so it is on the link, I just checked, it's on the link to platform, and Scale provides labeling and cataloging to the large language model AI platforms so they can train their AI. Some of their customers are NVIDIA, Microsoft, Cisco, Meta, OpenAI, U.S. Army and Air Force. The CEO became the youngest billionaire at 24 years old. He's 27 now. Wow. And so there you have it. Link to is my sponsor. You can go to linqto.com or download the Link to app. Check it out, folks. Yesterday, Bitcoin almost achieved its all-time high, and then it did a little pullback. Is today the day? We do have $2.42 trillion in this market right now. It's growing. The liquidity is growing. Then we got this CNBC on Bitcoin.
We've got a crypto rally today as Bitcoin is just short of its all-time highs. Mackenzie Segala is joining us now with a look at kind of what's driving the trade. Is it really something that can be characterized as a so-called Trump trade?
Bitcoin is trading at its highest point since March. It's up more than 5% in the last 24 hours, with Bitcoin's trading volume topping $31 billion and more than $224 million in short positions liquidated over that same window. Now, meanwhile, stocks tied to digital asset prices like Riot Platforms, Coinbase, and MicroStrategy are all rallying this morning, along with the wider crypto market, as Bitcoin breaks past that key 70K resistance level. Now, spot Bitcoin ETFs have also seen a surge of inflows, adding over $3.1 billion in just the last 2 weeks, bringing the total market cap of those funds to nearly $73 billion since they launched in January. I've been speaking with analysts, and they say that with 1 week to go until the general election here in the U.S., investors are increasingly bullish that no matter who wins, it will be a net benefit for the industry. And already, guys, we are seeing options traders increase bets that regardless of who takes the White House, Bitcoin is poised to hit that 80K mark this year.
We've got
80K, 2025. I keep telling my wife 2025 is the year. She says, well, you've been saying it's the year. I said, no, I've never said that one particular year is the year. 2025 is the year, in my opinion, for a lot of this. By pure coincidence, the guys at Black Swan Capitalist, by pure coincidence, 1 billion Tether was minted at the Tether Treasury, and suddenly Bitcoin surges. Odd timing, since Tether just broke its peg again, raising real concerns about stability. And while other countries dump U.S. bonds, Tether seems to be buying them up and pushing Bitcoin's price higher. So there's where they minted that. Is Tether the next FTX? Investor fears grow. Over 118 billion stablecoins, transparency, da-da-da. Then you got this, since a new how many people told you that Codius was dead, folks? All these know-it-alls, they know everything. They told you Codius was dead for years. And now Stefan Thomas is saying he's working on a new version of Codius. Here's Chris Larson from back in 2000. I think this is a long ways back, like maybe 2013, 14-ish. Chris Larson talking about Codius.
Out in the ether.
Sure, yeah. No, we're really excited about Codius, and that's Stefan Thomas and Evan Schwartz, absolutely brilliant engineers who have been spearheading that, along with an increasing number of our staff. So a lot of it is obviously smart contracts. Smart contracts have traditionally been attached to distributed ledgers. I think originally it was thought that you have distributed ledger first, and then you'd have smart contracts built on top of it. We started taking a different approach with Codius in making them two completely separate streams, so that with Codius you can both use any programming language and you can use any form of ledger. So whether it be a distributed ledger, decentralized ledger, whether it be PayPal, centralized ledger, Chase, whatever, we think those smart contracts should be able to tie anything of value from any counterparty or non-counterparty. So that's a kind of a fundamental foundation of it. But what that should do then is allow, to your point, the idea of autonomous agents. So a good example would be, today the only kind of autonomous agent that can exist is basically a virus, which is usually having to do bad things to support itself. Originally, the idea behind viruses was that you have benevolent viruses, and we think with things like autonomous agents that can think of a program that can exist in the wild and kind of have a bank account. An application cannot go to Chase and open a bank account, which means it can't support itself. It can't take in payments from customers. It can't hire developers to improve itself. And something like Codius would allow that to happen. So you might have a world where you have benevolent agents running around that could actually be antibodies for viruses. That would be one example, taking the place of antivirus companies. You could have an autonomous agent that would be like an Uber, where you wouldn't need Uber. You'd have a direct sort of connection between the customer and the driver. That driver actually could be eventually a self-driving car. What gets really interesting there is you could theoretically eliminate profit margins because autonomous agents don't need to make profit. So these things will have a lot of, obviously this is in the future a bit, but this is real now. You can do this all today, and you'll see a lot of new tools coming out. But that's the world where I think you could see 1 billion times 1 billion transactions a day, if you're really going into a world of an internet for value with smart agents. So we shouldn't be talking about technology that replaces existing payment numbers. We should be talking about a world like the Internet of Information, where you see just exponential increases in the amount of value being transmitted.
Okay, then let's see what else we have. Okay, this is last week when I was at DC FinTech, but Bloomberg yesterday put out a compilation. It's Brad Garlinghouse, and then it's Chris Brummer, who ran the thing, and it's also the CLO of Coinbase.
I'm optimistic about is we're going to see a change. We're going to see a reset. And I think we need that at the federal level. No matter where this plays out at the presidential level, we'll have a more constructive...
Brad Garlinghouse is saying we're going to see a reset. I'll bet you money that Brad Garlinghouse behind the scenes is saying, Chris, are you really going to make me do this? Chris, why are you doing the Kamala thing? But Brad's a CEO, so he can't come out and say it. That's why I said it for him.
Engagement with this industry.
In order for fintech to become mainstream across almost any realm, whether or not it be AI, whether or not it be crypto, is that fintech has to be able to make its case.
Giving voice to the concerns of those voters and of those Americans, that unless we adopt rules for crypto here in the United States, crypto will take off, but it will take off in other countries and other parts of the world that will leave us behind. Provide regulatory clarity and some degree of consistency rather than simply lawsuits and endless court litigation.
Gary Gensler's reign of terror on the crypto industry is going to come to an end very soon.
The Harris campaign, like the Trump campaign, understands that 52 million Americans want to see crypto in their future, and that it's critically important that any new administration address those concerns.
The good news about the United States is that the markets do tend to adjust. The bad news is that the predictions that are in play right now could skew the market expectations over the next few weeks.
Okay, then we had this was this guy's name is Aaron Sledhall. Sorry, Aaron, may have butchered your name. You know what? I think I'm going to save these for the next video because there was several of them. Let me get past that. I wanted to show you this. I'm going to skip to this. Let me see if I can get... Was that? Yeah. Okay, so we skip to this, and then we'll skip to this, and then we'll hit that stuff in the next video. I wanted to show you this. They're talking about an XRP and a Solana ETF on the website on Paul Barron. Listen to this.
For assets, for other assets beyond Bitcoin, because Bitcoin has a very, very clear regulatory regime in the US already. But when you look at Ether, they have some clarity. Now there are ETFs, but when you go to Solana, XRP, and all the other assets, there's a big uncertainty right now. So I think that they...
Wrong. XRP has legal regulatory clarity. Solana has a big uncertainty. I'm wondering why is Solana not in a lawsuit? Why is ADA not in a lawsuit? Why is Ethereum not in a lawsuit? Why are they not spending 4 years, spending hundreds of millions of dollars? Why are they not being targeted? Well, remember, FTX was all in cahoots with the government, okay? And Solana is what allowed those creditors to be paid back. You know, the same FTX that Sullivan Cromwell was representing before and after the bankruptcy and during, right?
To benefit the most from an open regulatory regime for crypto, and that's what markets are betting for Trump. If Trump is elected, then we might have a regulatory regime. But what we believe is that the most important thing is look at the Congress. So how the Congress is going to be composed in this next cycle, okay? Yes. And how this Congress to look into regulation. That's the big important topic to look in the coming.
Okay, so my question is Solana a security? You know, a lot of people ask me all the time, why don't you just talk about XRP? Well, that's because after all that we've been through, from a regulatory standpoint, in my opinion, Bitcoin and XRP are you can talk about Bitcoin and XRP all day long, and you don't have to worry about whether tomorrow a lawsuit gets dropped on one of them. With all of the others, you have we're already in probably the most risky asset class that there is. But with all of those other ones, I don't care if it's Solana, Sui, whatever you want to name, throw it out there. With every single one of those others, you have to wonder, you have that added risk. You have to wonder, is today the day that Gary's going to drop a lawsuit on this investment I hold? And that's why I think it's irresponsible to talk about all those things right now. Because that's an added risk that until we get legislation and get a change of administration, it's irresponsible. And that's the fact, Jack. And there's nobody that can argue that. You don't know if tomorrow you get a lawsuit. You do know with Bitcoin and XRP because they're the only digital. And I wouldn't even include Bitcoin in that, but everybody in the government seems, oh yeah, even Brad Garlinghouse, oh yeah, Bitcoin's got legal clarity. All it really has, it has the last administration that was cool with it, and it has this administration that's cool with it in terms of giving it, saying it's a commodity. But make no mistake, somebody could come in power next time and they could say, no, Bitcoin, that's a security. We got these 4 Satoshis over here that Homeland Security met with. That's a security. And we're going to sue those 4 guys. They could do it. They could do it tomorrow. But it's the only one that I feel like it's quasi-safe compared to XRP. All right. So we're going to go into daixrp.com because we have a big warning. And we're going to talk about a big conspiracy. This is probably the biggest conspiracy that there is. And I tell you the truth, as crazy as it may sound, I lean in the direction of this one being true. Just because you'll see it with your own eyes. Anyway, here we go. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, tell your friends and family. Here we go.